This is Sheriff Spotlight with the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, highlighting the office and deputies dedicated to providing law enforcement services and maintaining the trust and support of Rockingham County citizens, all while keeping neighborhoods and communities safe.
Good morning, I'm Sheriff Sam Page, and I'm here today for March 21st Sheriff Spotlight. Today I have a special guest, Sergeant Christy Disher. Sergeant Disher would like to welcome you to the Sheriff Spotlight. This is our podcast. It goes out to 7 different platforms all across the world. And we want to welcome you to the show today.
Thank you for having me.
Okay. And this is the first time you've been on the show, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And I hope you can come back now. Christy has a good personality, and she has a good sense of humor and stuff, so she may laugh a little bit when I talk to her and stuff like this. But anyway, Christy, you first off, tell us what your position is with the Sheriff's Office.
I'm the Sergeant of Records and Civil, and I handle the executions, the writ executions for the department.
And we're going to explain what that word is, because it's not as it sounds. It's a civil term. But before we even start there, I want to go back. You've been with the Sheriff's Office, with the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office, for how long?
I've been back since 2011. Since
2011. And what different types of jobs have you participated in when you've been in this, working with the Sheriff's Office? What types of work have you done?
I've been in staff duty, answering the phone. I have been...
That's 24-hour service?
Yes, sir.
Mm-hmm.
With the patrol shift. I have been on COPs, community-oriented policing.
The community-oriented policing program, which was a very important crime prevention program. We started this back in before I came in, probably about 1996, and there were grant positions and stuff at that time. And just tell them a little bit about what the COP did.
You go around, check businesses to make sure that they're compliant with thefts or to prevent them.
Anything dealing with crime prevention?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you're talking to them about alarm systems. They may have a question about alarm systems, how those call into the 911 center. Lighting. You learn about the businesses, the hours of operation, stuff like this. You check on the businesses and stuff like this. Did you have a lot of businesses where you worked?
Yes, sir.
What section of the county did you work?
The whole county. I checked every one of them.
So you know all the businesses in the county?
Yes.
Particularly all the convenience stores, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Which usually stay open after 5 at dark. Okay. So you did staff duty, and you worked as a community policing officer. What else did you do?
Patrol.
What'd you do in patrol?
I worked the west side of the county.
Now, when you say the west side, what area is that? What townships?
Madison, Stokesdale, Stoneville, Shiloh, Summerfield.
Basically anywhere west of Wentworth?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All the way to the Guilford County line and to the
Virginia state line.
Virginia state line. A lot of people don't know this. Rockingham County, about 562 square miles. We did this experiment one time because we were talking about our manpower and how big the county was. So we took a trip from Anglin Mill, which is the furthest northwest part of the county, and we drove all the way to the furthest southeast part of the county where Guilford and Alamance County meet down there. And it took 53 minutes to drive across county, driving the speed limit, 53 minutes, almost an hour. And Roy, I don't know if a lot of people don't realize, we have a big county. I've had the opportunity to go out to Arizona and Texas, some of these bigger states that have a lot of counties, big counties. But Arizona, I think, only has like 13 counties. But the last time I was out in Arizona, I was out in Pinal County, and I think they had like 6,000 square miles. We're 565 square miles. Now, they may not have the population in some of those areas, but they still have to cover areas and stuff like this. So we're blessed. We have a smaller county, 92,000 population that we serve. But you served you did enforcement on the Uniform Patrol Division.
Yes, sir. And
COPs and staff duty. All those very important functions. Anything else you did?
And now civil.
And now, so how long have you been with Civil Division?
Since 2015.
Okay, so about 5 years, something like this. And you started out as a civil officer?
Yes, sir.
And then you worked your way up into supervision? Okay. Okay. let me go back because I kind of missed this part. Where did you grow up? What part of county did you grow up in?
In Stoneville.
In Stoneville. So you're a local person.
Yes.
Got to ask you, was it when you were a kid or was it later in life? When did you start thinking about, hey, I'd like to go into law enforcement? How did that come about?
It was later in life.
Later in life?
Yes.
So was it anybody or anything like TV or certain individuals that influenced you? Anybody you can tell us that influenced you to go into law enforcement?
Well, a recent retired deputy, Bobby Richardson. I used to work at Food Line in Madison, and he come in quite a lot, and I would talk to him, and he is the one that I talked to about coming to the sheriff's office.
And you know, Bobby just recently retired. Stuff. He was our CSI person and a sergeant with the detective division. So Bobby had influence. I never knew that. Good fellow. I worked with him. I worked with him when I was with the sheriff's office the first time for several years, and I was a supervisor. So, so you left Stoneville. Did you go to your rookie school local, or did you go to Greensboro? Or
I went to Rockingham.
So you went to, and when did you go through your basic law enforcement training? What year? Remember?
2007.
2007. Okay. Was I teaching over there?
Yes.
I thought I was. Yeah, no, I've been teaching there since I think 2000 and stuff.
Yes.
So we had you in the rookie school. We're glad to have you come on board with us and stuff like this. So you hadn't worked with any other agencies?
Stoneville and Madison.
You did work
police
with
departments.
Stoneville. Okay. Now you have another connection to law enforcement. That is
My husband.
Okay. And your husband is
Brian Disher.
Brian Disher. And Brian is a detective with the
Eden
Police
City.
Department, and he's been there for several years too, hasn't he?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And actually, Brian used to work here also. So we've known you a long time and known Brian, and we're glad to have you on board here and stuff like this.
Thank you.
Okay, so we move forward. You have your influence and stuff like this. You graduated from what high school?
McMichael.
Yeah, we always have to ask people where they graduated from. We have 4 great high schools here. We have Reidsville, we have Eden or Moorhead, we have McMichael, and we have Rockingham. So we have 4 high schools, and we look after and serve all those high schools. And I'm sure, as a deputy, you probably have worked ball games before, haven't you?
Yes, sir.
You've worked. Okay. You still work some of the details?
Every once in a while.
Every once in a while. Okay. And we're in football season right now, and I don't know if you know this, and Kevin's out here in the audience, but I understood I was at the county commissioner meeting Monday night, and they had told us that Reidsville is supposed to play at Carrboro this Friday, and that they said they could not have guests come to. So under the COVID rules, you know, the executive orders are out there from the governor, and then the municipalities and other towns, they can actually have more restrictive. So apparently they're not going to be able to have guests. I hadn't heard anything change, but we are in the middle of football season, and I think it's a 6-game season and stuff like this.
Yes.
So anyway, well, I went and watched your old school play. I watched McMichael play the other week, and I think McMichael and Moorhead matched up last Friday. And then, of course, I was at Reidsville watching them play Ragsdale. So a lot of football going on here and stuff. So, but anyway, I was curious where you went. Let me ask you this question. I always ask kids that when they went to local schools here, who was your resource officer?
Maggie Barker.
Maggie Barker. And Maggie retired just recently herself. And Maggie worked with the civil division also and stuff like that.
And she was my supervisor.
And she was your supervisor and your school resource
Yes,
officer.
sir.
And she was our friend also.
Yes.
So we miss Maggie. She did a good job also and stuff. Your current assignment, you're working in the civil division. You're a sergeant. Tell us a little bit about your duties and responsibilities that you have. Just some basic duties and responsibilities as a sergeant of the civil division. What do you do?
I overlook my civil deputies to make sure that they are checking on their sex offenders, checking on their papers.
Okay. She mentioned something here. There are some statutory requirements that if a person is a sex offender or they're put in that classification based on a conviction, that person has to come where? To register.
To records, to our office.
So a person has to register. And once a person is a registered sex offender here, is it a period of time that that they have to register for? Is it 10 years?
10 years.
And now after 10 years, what's the designation where after 10 years they can apply to be taken off?
That's correct.
Okay, but if a person is another designation,
If they
it's
are
forever.
recidivist or aggravated or
So a more serious offender that's put on at the registry can be on for life.
yes, sir.
Whereas a person that is another designation, is a sex offender, a basic designation, could be 10 years, and then they can apply to be
To get
removed, apply to a judge to be removed.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And now, it's very important people understand is that we have statutory responsibilities when we're checking on sex offenders. Can you tell how many times a year we're required to check on sex offenders to verify their residency?
The non-aggravated and non-recidivist, which is not the violent ones, they are checked every 6 months. But the aggravated and recidivist, which is the more violent ones, have to be checked every 3 months.
Every 3 months. So just a little information to everyone watching on the podcast is that we do track our sex offenders. We do unannounced come out and make sure that they're living where they're supposed to be living. And also, if you're interested in seeing if a person is on the sex offender, what's the easy way for somebody to look and see?
They can go on the website, the North Carolina Sex Offenders Registry.
Is that still under the SBI?
Yes.
So if you go to the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation's Sex Offender Registry, you can see that.
Yes.
But it all starts from the courthouse to the Sheriff's Office Records Division. A person's placed on that registry, and then it goes to the state and the SBI.
Yes, sir.
So if you have that question, all you have to do is go on the registry, and you can see that online.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. And if you don't have a computer, what can you do?
You can call.
Call the Records Division, and they can provide the information because it is public record information.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Well, in North Carolina and in a lot of other places where you have a sheriff, our basic responsibility, we have 3 basic responsibilities. And one is to maintain the order and security and safety in the courtroom setting, right?
That's correct.
The other is to operate a jail. Have you ever worked in a jail?
No, sir.
Okay. Is to operate, maintain a safe and secure jail. And the third responsibility of the Sheriff's Office is what you do, which is civil process. And we're going to go into a little bit about civil process. It is complex, and we're going to try to keep it real simple. And I'm going to ask you several questions about civil process here. But who is your supervisor?
Lieutenant Kevin Southard.
Okay, we want to give him a shout out today, Kevin. Thank you for being in the audience. Okay. All right. How many deputies do you have working currently for you under the Civil Division that go out across the county?
3, 4 including me.
Okay. And each one of y'all have your own specialty, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is basic civil process? What is that? Versus criminal process, civil process. What is it?
Criminal is when you commit a crime. Civil is basically money's owed. But my guys do civil summons, writs,
Okay,
writ of possessions.
and we'll go into those. So basically, if someone owes somebody something monetary or they're trying to recover property, it would fall into the civil process. Now, if someone stole somebody's property that they didn't have an entitlement to, it could be criminal.
That's correct.
But let's say, for example, somebody bought something and they didn't pay for it and stuff, and the persons that were the original owners wanted to recover that property, then you go, if you want, and when you want to start the civil process, where's the first place you go?
To the clerk's office.
To the clerk of court's office, okay? And the clerk of court's office at Wentworth is located in the front of the building to the left. Mark Pigram is our clerk, okay? And they will help you. They're very helpful. If you don't know what forms it is, you can ask them, right?
Yes, sir.
Particularly with evictions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And with evictions, do you have to have an attorney all the time?
No.
Okay, so you can represent yourself in these small claims actions, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So I've asked you, how is a civil issue different than a criminal issue? And you kind of explained that. Okay, we're going to do, how does somebody, say for someone wants to sue somebody for money owed or recover property, how does that process start? So if, say for example, you owe me money. I sold you something and you never paid me, and I want to recover that money. I first start with the
Clerk's office.
Clerk's office. I pay a fee, file the paperwork, okay, and then what happens?
They will bring it to the sheriff's office.
The paper.
Yes, sir. Or they can leave it with the clerk and they will bring it to us.
When we say paper and process, it's the same thing. Yeah, okay.
They would pay $30 per defendant to the sheriff's office for service. And then after that, we will go out there and check to see if the person's at home, to try to make service of it. If they're not at home, a summary ejectment, we can post it.
Now, summary ejectment is basically what? Does what?
It's the first step to the eviction.
Okay, so when you hear summary ejectment, it's kind of like it sounds to eject. It's the beginning part for an eviction.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and it can, in certain ways, it can be either served, or at a certain point in time, it can be posted. All right, so say for example, today is the 17th of March, and it's also St. Patrick's Day. Okay, green. Okay, but say for example, today you received a paper to evict somebody. How much time do you have to get that paper served on that person, on that defendant?
For the summary ejectment, we have until the court date, or for personal service, or it'll be 5 days prior to the court date. We can post it.
Within 5 days. If you still haven't been able to find the person, but now if you post that, like put it up on the door, post it, what does that do as far as being able to recover your monies?
The landlord will not be able to recover their money back if it is posted.
So basically by posting, the only thing a person can recover is it's like a rental property. They could recover that, or they could have you evicted and you could recover your property.
Yes,
but
sir.
you wouldn't be able to recover your money. So most people, that when we serve papers, they want us to serve that person
in person.
and we
Yes,
try
Our best.
due diligence to do that, right?
Yes, sir.
And when we serve those papers and we do what's called a return, right?
Right.
What do we sign on the back?
Our name, date, time.
Due diligence search. If we're not able to find them, and we know we can post, but on some of the civil papers, if we don't find them, then we do a return indicating that after doing diligent search, unable to locate in Rockingham County
Yes,
that
sir.
person, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I haven't served civil papers in a while, so that's why I'm asking you here and stuff. Okay, but it is one of my responsibilities, and you help me, and our civil officers help me as sheriff to be able to accomplish that mission. Okay. Says if you want to serve a civil paper on someone, any type of civil paper, are there restrictions on where you can and can't serve them?
Outside of the county, we cannot serve them. If they meet us in the county, that's fine, as long as it's personal service.
They can serve them at their residence?
Yes, sir.
Their known residence?
Yes.
How about if they're not home? Can you drop the papers off with somebody?
Yes, sir. If they're of age, as long as they live at the residence as well.
What do you consider of age? Suitable age and discretion?
16, 18, as long as they're...
So if they're around 16, that's
Yes.
accepted under the statute?
Yes.
And you can leave a copy for the person that resides there that the paper applies to?
Yes.
Okay. Can you serve a civil paper on Sunday?
Yes.
Okay. Are there any restrictions when you can serve a civil paper?
No.
Okay. All right. All right. Well, what happens if the person that you have the paper to serve on doesn't want to accept the paper? What do you do?
We can actually lay it at their feet and tell them that they've been served.
Like a mic drop?
Yes.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, I know. I'm picking at you. Okay. So if say for example, I go over to Roy and I say, Roy, I have a civil paper for you, and I said, here it is, and I'm not taking it. You can drop it at their feet.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Is there any name for that? I'm just curious. Okay.
You said mic drop.
Okay, like a mic drop. Okay. And I said, how many attempts will a process server make? As many as you can, and it's documented. We
Yes, sir.
document it in the computer,
And on
document it
paper.
on the paper. And again, if it's an eviction, we get within 5 days and we still can't serve the person, we can post it. But that would prohibit the person from being able to recover money, only the apartment.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Or the house or whatever situation. Can someone else, you said, can someone else serve paper? Now, there are some private process service too.
Yes, sir.
I know sometimes when we get papers from like person serving a paper from the federal government, you know, we get process service come in and they can service and stuff
Yes.
like this. I think they just have to be 18 years of age.
I think that's right.
Okay. So you do have some. Okay, let's go through this. How does eviction work? And we're going to talk about the COVID exception here, okay?
Okay.
Or declaration. But basically, so say for example, you want to evict me from you're the property owner. You want to evict me from an apartment, Okay?
Okay.
Under normal circumstances, non-COVID, how does it start? What do you start with?
The verbal. You tell them
Or
you
send 'em
got
a- send 'em
send 'em a
notice?
letter. Yes,
Le-
written or verbal. Tell them you got so many days to get out. Depends on what kind of lease there is.
Uh-huh.
If they're not out, you could go to the clerk's office and file for the summary ejectment.
Okay? Summary ejectment's filed, and it comes back to the sheriff's office, and then
That's when we
you
go
got,
out.
You got so much time
Yes.
until the court date, or post it within 5 days.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, once that's taking place, and I get and say, for example, I'm the defendant who the paper was served on, and I go to court to small claims, and the judge enters a judgment against me. He finds that your complaint was good, and he finds for you against me. Now, when that happens, what's the next step in the eviction process?
They have 10 days. If the judge rules in the landlord's favor, they have 10 days to wait.
So the defendant has 10 days
to appeal.
To appeal that process.
Yes, sir.
Okay. If he doesn't,
If he doesn't, I usually tell people the 11th day they can go back to the clerk's office and file for the writ of possession.
Writ of possession. And the writ of possession, as it sounds, is a writ to recover
To
the
take.
property.
Yes, sir.
Okay. And it has a date on it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So you serve that before the date.
They will bring it over here to the sheriff's office,
And-
and we will schedule it 7 days from the day that they bring it to the sheriff's office.
And that's served upon the defendant.
That's
Okay?
correct.
And the defendant knows that if they're not out within a certain time, that they will be removed.
Moved. Yes,
Okay?
sir.
All right. And I think that pretty much covers how to evict someone, right?
Yes,
Okay. And you don't have to have an attorney to go to small claims court, do you?
that's correct.
But you can hire one.
Yes.
That's your call. And we got a lot of fine attorneys around. How about an execution? You mentioned that real quick. What is execution?
Execution is for judgments, monies owed, credit card bills, property, whatever.
You bought something they didn't pay you, and you
Yes.
want your money.
Car was taken back, and
All right. On the writ of execution, how does that start?
it starts at the clerk's
Office, like all of the civil process. And then how long does and how do you serve that writ? How much time do you have to serve a writ?
I have 90 days.
And 90 days on a writ. All right. If you don't serve it within 90 days, what do you do?
I will return it back to the clerk's office.
And the plaintiff is notified?
Yes.
Okay. Can you have it reissued?
Yes.
Okay.
For 10 years. They're good for 10 years, and they can actually.
So if he's got a judgment, then you file for execution, and it's good for 10 years. Okay. And basically, it's just a way in the civil process to recover your money.
Yes, sir.
Simple.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I know sometimes you sell property when property. And now, is that to satisfy an execution?
Yes, sir.
So by law, you have to do it on the courthouse steps, right?
Yes, sir. For real property.
For real property.
For personal property, I do it at the old impound lot,
Which
at
is
the old sheriff's office.
okay. But for real
real.
property, you can
I'll
do
have
it
it
like
over there.
house, land. You do it right here.
Yes, sir.
And that's statutory. But all right, I'll just tell you, when we built the new courthouse, though, it doesn't have a lot of steps, does it?
No.
Okay. All right. Must have had them in the old days. Okay. Now, we've talked a little bit about the records division. All right. Let's do gun permits real quick. You oversee the civil division. All right. Gun permits. If a person wants to purchase and get a gun permit, so they can purchase a firearm, how do they do it real quick?
They can do it online, or they can do it in person.
Go to what website?
North Carolina,
No.
the sheriff, sorry, Rockingham County Sheriff.
I tricked you there. It's rockinghamsheriff.com, and you go to the website, and it tells you how to apply online. Okay. Down the road, we're possibly going to be able to go do online applications for carry conceal permits. There's different fees. The purchase permits are $5 if you come to the sheriff's office. What days can you come to the sheriff's office to apply?
Wednesday and Thursday.
Wednesdays and Thursdays on purchase permits, and to apply for carry conceal Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Okay.
From 9 to 3:30.
9 to 3:30. And if you get a call from the sheriff and it says your carry conceal permit has come in, you need to come by and pick it up.
Yes.
Who's that call from?
You.
Exactly. and again, come in and pick it up. And the carry conceal permits are good for 5 years.
5 years. Yes, sir.
And what's the initial fee?
$90.
$90 is the initial fee. And then the purchase permits initial fee is $5 in person. I think it's $7 online.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So I just want to kind of cover that a little bit here. Let me see if there's anything else. Oh, how about if somebody wants to get fingerprinting? A lot of times we have people during the COVID situation. A lot of people want to do fingerprinting and stuff like this. Can someone come from another county and get fingerprinted?
Yes, sir.
Is there a fee?
$20.
$20. If someone is a resident of Rockingham County and wants to get fingerprinted,
$5.
$5.
But their license has got to be correct of the address that they live at.
Okay. So, and so if you have a question or if you'd like to get fingerprinted, stuff like this, you can come by the Rockingham County Sheriff's Office here on Justice Drive, and you can come in and tell them you'd like to get fingerprinted, and they'll be able to take care of you. We didn't cover this real quick. COVID declaration. During the COVID-19 last March, the CDC and the federal government enacted what's called a COVID declaration. Short version, what does that mean?
It means that the landlord has got to make a copy and take it to the clerk's office. Anything COVID related.
Anything, say for a COVID situation where you can't pay your bills,
right?
You don't have the bill, you lost your job, can't pay. The whole purpose on the COVID declaration was to prevent the spread of COVID-19 across North Carolina, right, and across the country. So now, when does it expire?
March 31st of 2021.
So it's coming up. So March 21st. So it's coming up. And if a person has not been able to pay during that period, are they responsible for paying back some of those monies?
Yes.
Yeah. But between now, when it's first started, and to the 21st, if someone violates the conditions of the COVID declaration, are there fines?
Yes.
How much are they?
Anywhere from $100,000 to $500,000, and
1 year in prison.
Jail. Yep.
So let me tell you this: if someone does a COVID declaration and they hand you this sheet that says COVID declaration, and your landlord, you have to honor that if it meets the requirements, and because if you don't, it could be penalties, financial, $100,000 to $500,000, and 1 year in prison. So you don't want to do that. But that's coming. That'll be coming off on the 21st.
31st.
As far as,
31st.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Not
31st.
31st. I'm
gotcha.
2 weeks early. And other than that, is anything else about that COVID exam? Where do you get that from? Can you get it online?
Yes, sir.
And do the landlords have them?
Yes, they should.
But if they don't, if a person doesn't have that, can they write it on a regular piece of paper
Yes.
and say, "This is my COVID declaration, and I feel like I meet that criteria"?
Yes.
Okay. And that, again, ladies and gentlemen, that whole process was set up to protect people so they didn't spread COVID-19. Something very important. Right now, they're doing vaccines for COVID-19 for the Rockingham County Health Department. Ms. Young, Trey, our health director, is out there, Trey Wright, and they're doing a great job getting shots out there. If you go to the health department website, you can find out information about getting the vaccines for COVID-19. Think about it. It could save your life. We've had a lot of people pass away because of COVID, and we don't want to lose anybody in Rockingham County. So we appreciate you contacting the health department if you have any questions about getting your COVID-19 shots. There are also some other businesses around, pharmacies around the county that are also participating. I know Walgreens is one, and again, there's some other pharmacies. You know your pharmacies in your local community. Check with them; should be able to help you. And so that's covering COVID. We just got a few seconds here. Christy, I want to tell you did a great job today. This is your first time on TV, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I want to let you know you're going out all over the world, and you did a great job, and we appreciate what you do for the citizens of Rockingham County. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Sheriff Sam Page. On behalf of Sheriff Spotlight for March of this year, we'd like to thank everybody for watching, and come watch us in April. See you.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye.